After the process of digestion of food, the process of absorption of food begins in the last part of small intestine, which is called as ileum. We will see the detail of absorption of food in small intestine first. As we can see here that the process of absorption of proteins and carbohydrates is slightly different from that of absorption of fats. For proteins and carbohydrates, the end products are amino acids and monosaccharides. They are absorbed from the microvilli and then they enters the epithelial cells of intestinus villus, and then ultimately they are absorbed by the blood capillaries. And we can see here that as far as fats are concerned, these triglycerides, they combine with bile salts and they form fatty acids as well as monoglycerides. But when they enter the epithelial cells of intestinal villus, the resynthesis of triglycerides occurs and they then combine with proteins and form chylomicron molecules or droplets, and they then enter the lymphatic capillaries. Now we have to see why in case of carbohydrates and protein metabolism, they enter the hepatic portal system or liver. This is because of the fact in liver the protein and carbohydrate molecules are chemically modified. We can take the example that many drugs that are absorbed through gastrointestinal tracts, they are metabolized by the liver before they enter the general circulation system. And while in case of lipids, these lipoproteins are absorbed by the lacteals. We can see here the lacteals, and this is because of the fact these lipoproteins are hydrolyzed by the blood plasma enzyme. They then enter the body cells where they may be used in respiration or stored as fat in the liver or muscles under the skin. So after being absorbed in the small intestine, they pass through the ileocolic sphincter. This we can see that this is ileocecal valve or ileocolic sphincter. From this valve, remaining food enters to the large intestine. Now we will see the absorption in large intestine. Large intestine is actually not larger than small intestine. It is called large because its diameter is large, and the small intestine actually passes the material to the large intestine, which contain large amount of water, dissolved salt and undigested material. Water and salts are absorbed in blood while undigested material is rejected as feces. So here we can see the structure of large intestine. It consists of two vestigial organs or non-functional organs which are known as cecum or appendix, and it is to be noted here that the appendix sometimes get inflamed due to the trapping of food, which condition which is called as appendicitis, and which has to remove surgically in many cases. We can also see that it has not as many convolutions as in the small intestine, and it also doesn't have villi as were present in the small intestine. So if there is a problem in the absorption in large intestine, there is a condition which is called as diarrhea or constipation occurs, and diarrhea occurs if the absorption of water and salt does not take place due to infection, drug action or emotional disturbance. In extreme condition, which is also called as constipation, it is caused by the excessive absorption of water. We move on to the next organ, which is called as a rectum. The compacted feces which was passed on to the rectum by peristaltic contraction of the large intestine, they are passed on to the short tube which is called as rectum, and from rectum the feces exit the body through the anus. Two sphincters actually control passage to the anus. The first one is smooth and it opens involuntarily in response to pressure inside the rectum, while the second one is composed of striated muscles and it is under voluntary control by the brain, and thus it permits a conscious decision to delay defecation. So that was all about the absorption of food through the important organs. First it was absorbed in the small intestine, then in large intestine, and finally passed on to the rectum, and digested waste was passed out of the body via the anus.